Lokko. I am very excited that you have decided to join us. I hope that you have ripped off every label that you placed on yourself, even the ones that other people have placed on you. I hope that you know you are bold and unique. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I'm excited and honored for you to be watching this show. This is a part 2 of the show that we done a couple of weeks ago, where my guest, Michelle Mano, and I were talking about how technology has shifted our thinking, our vision, and just our all-out living, how we need to bridge the gap between the old, the new, the traditional, non-traditional, how those things need to come together and figure out how to be a working organism as one. Today, my guest is Lupita Fernandez. She is the talk show host of Meeting Millennials. She is a videographer and a photographer, and she has just stormed the platforms with her knowledge and information that she brings to the table. So help me welcome Lupita Fernandez. Hi, Lupita.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. This is my first time being a guest, so I'm ready.
Well, I'm excited. We work together on a lot of stuff, and we always are talking about stuff, and we have a vision, and we collaborate, and we do so much together, so we know each other in a sense. And so I just wanted to have you as this second part 2 of the show that I did with Michelle, because it is very important. Someone has to talk about what's going on with social media, what's going on with the original, the traditional, beforehand, afterhand, whatever you want to call it, because there's so much out there now, and I think people are trying to find out where they fit in this social media world, in this internet world, but they're losing who they are trying to do it.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Like, I personally, I don't want to fit in with people because I'm myself. And that's an issue that people have, is like they don't know who they are because they're too busy looking at what Ashley's posting or whatever they're posting, and it's just a facade because it's just like a surface level of what their life is. And so everybody has their own style. To me, I'd rather be original because I know who I am, but other people, they don't know who they are. So that's important to know who you are, so you know like what you want to expand on and what you want to work on, and in doing so you're not comparing yourself to whoever because you're literally focused on your own growth. So that's important to know.
Yeah, because in the world that I grew up in, that's exactly what happened. You were told by tests, teachers, your parents, your friend, oh, you should be a nurse. Oh, you would be good at this. Oh, it was almost like a dictatorship in a sense. It was, because you were told what to do, how to act. Well, this is this. You know, who said that orange was orange? Somebody had to begin somewhere. What about somebody standing up and said, no, that's not orange, that's pink, or that's purple? So finding your own unique gift, your own unique person, who you are to the core, is very important. And I see that happening a lot. People are waking up, and they're figuring out who they are, and they're trying to figure out how to fit themselves in this society, which the society is not set up for them to fit in. So here's the thing I tell people, you're gonna have to knock down some doors. You're gonna have to tear down some brick walls, and you're gonna have to create some doors, and you're gonna have to create some opportunities, because who you are, there is no other master copy but you. And so society cannot dictate who you are.
Exactly. So a thing is, with like your generation, it's very standard. You go to school, you get out, you find a job, and then you get married and you have a family, and that's it for you. But our generation, we're not like that. So that's why on Meeting Millennials, I talk about millennials who are breaking generational curses and standards and actually doing their own thing that they're passionate about. So I say this to a lot of people, it's like, you can go what you're passionate for, you just have to go out there and do it. And so your generation is more like, well, this is what you should do, but that doesn't work for us anymore, because you know we're breaking those curses. Like we're not doing that anymore. Sorry. So, but it's important for us to collaborate, because I get information from you that I don't have any knowledge about because I haven't reached there yet. Whereas our generation, we're younger and we bring in new insights.
And I love it. I love it because I'm constantly asking my kids or you, hey, well, what does this mean? Or and it's good because I'm willing. I'm willing to learn. That's one thing I've always told myself is I would never be too old to learn what's new. And it's a good thing I did because it's helped me. And just having you and my children around me and different other youthful people, it's been like very empowering and very good for business and very good for life. I mean, just in general, but you're right. It's just that we had such a standard and I'm waiting on people, my generation, to get it. And of course, like we said, we do need to hang on to some of the organic stuff, the stuff that actually works, that's needed, but not the stuff that is trying to continually dictate to the person. I totally believe in walking in 100%. I know when I was growing up, I was like the black sheep, the different one, and I never could find where I fit. I never could find where I fit. And I think that's why it's easy for me to come over to this new world, but still maintain the things that I need to. But I had a problem in school, I had a problem in life, on jobs, because I always brought something different to the table that nobody wanted. And I didn't even know what that was like, but it bothered me for a long time. It bothered me because I'm like, why am I so different?
Yeah.
But now I've learned to embrace that and I've learned to create what I needed for me. I had to set the standard for my own life, and that's who we want to reach. We want to reach people that are saying, hey, I don't want to be a nurse. Or, yes, I do want to be a nurse, but I want to do it my way.
Yes.
So we want everybody to use their own unique fingerprint to build their own life. I think that's why people end up depressed. I think that's why people end up, let's be honest, jumping off a bridge or killing themselves, is because they've been so confined into somebody else's world for so long. They don't know what it's like to break free, and some people don't even know that it's possible that they can break free. So my question to you, or not question, so I want you to tell my audience, because my audience is probably about maybe 60% people like myself, and then the rest is people like you. So I want you to tell my audience, speak to the 60% and tell them how you can help, and the knowledge that you bring to the table can help them shift and to become what they were created to be.
Well, at first I want to address what you said about fitting in. You're not meant to fit in, because then you're just a copy. And you don't want to be a copy, you want to be unique to yourself, right? So I want to get that out there first. Like, if you're sad because you don't fit in, then you're okay. You're not meant to fit in. So I guess shifting your perspective is just have more of an eye-opening to the changing world around you, because the world is not what it was at all. So you have to move with the times, and you can't just be stuck and stagnant, because we're evolving now. So I mean, that's all I can really say is shift your perspective and be more open, because like my dad, he's typical, go to school, get a good job, get married, have a family. And me, I'm like, no, I did go to school because that's very important. One, because I'm a minority and I'm a woman, and I need that extra leverage for my education, just so I won't be at stuck, because they cap you at a certain point. Well, if you don't have an education, then you're capped. I never wanted to be capped, and that's one thing that pushed me to get myself to school. I have 2 degrees. I was like, nobody's gonna cap me, because I'm not gonna be stuck here. I want to keep elevating.
Yes.
And again, your generation is very like, okay, well, this is what we're taught, and that's how it is.
Dictated to.
Yeah,
Yes.
it can't be like that.
Yes. Well, when we come back, we're going to finish up talking about some very important things. We want to get into the meat of everything, because we want you free from what it is that's had you choked all these years.
Most people don't plan their financial future because it's complicated. There's so much out there, and I'm here to help you be able to navigate through that and find out exactly what's going to fit right for you. Hi, my name is Sarah Markopoulos. I'm an agent with New York Life, and I office out of Frisco, Texas. When I was a little girl, my father was a life insurance agent out of our hometown where I was born. He was a servant of the people, and I wanted to be that myself and give that to others. I knew New York Life would be the one that could help me do that. It's my clients. Each and every single one of them are different. So I help them not only enjoy the fruits of their labor, but also they'll be able to be secure in their financial future. Because either way, a choice will be made for you, whether you make one for yourself independently or life makes that choice for you. At the end of the day, you'll know you'll be okay. I came to New York Life because I love New York Life. I know what New York Life can provide for you, and I want to be able to be the one to bring that to you.
Welcome back to Bold and Unique Living with Katrina Lokko and my guest Lupita Fernandez. We're talking about the generational gap or the generational bridge. What we're trying to do, our desire is that each generation will marry each other. There's some good stuff in every generation. We need to figure out where there's a happy medium, because what's happening is people in my generation are trying to inflict what we've learned on the next generation, and that's not good, because some of the stuff that we learned or we were taught is obsolete to them. But some of the stuff that we did learn and that we were taught is obviously a good thing for them. So we're trying to find a happy medium. We're talking about that. We left off with talking about the caps. She was talking about how she has 2 degrees because she didn't want to be capped out at just one thing. So we're going to get right back into that.
So I did the traditional thing. I went to school, got my 2 degrees, got a corporate job, but I wasn't happy. So I wasn't happy just because before I got my degrees, you know, you always want to move up in a company, you always want to get a raise, you always want to do this and that. But I realized immediately that I was doing more work, but I wasn't getting paid for it. So it's like, well, what leverage do I have in this company? I didn't have any leverage. So the way that corporate America works is like, well, I mean, we paid you hourly, so whatever is involved hourly, that's what you're going to get paid. And it's like, well, okay, but I offer more than I'm not just like an hour, you know? So that really motivated me to want to get my education, because that's an extra leverage. So again, they can't cap you where you're at. And that's another thing is, past generations, we're limited to like one skill.
Yes.
This generation, it's like, we can do this, we can do that. Like for instance, I do pictures, I do videos, but I also do consulting or just a lot of things, because that's where we're at. Now in this generation, we move really quickly. Whereas before, you didn't live as fast paced as we do now.
Yes.
So that's like the main difference, is the fast pacedness and like the instant gratification that we get now. And that ties back to social media. It's like that instant gratification of, oh, I put this post up, oh, I have all these likes, and oh, or like, I feel bad because I don't have those likes, or why does she have 1,000 followers? And like, don't ask about them, worry about you.
Yes.
So,
and that's the thing, you said something very important there when you talked about the structure and the CAPSA thing, because those people that did, in our generation, that did say, I'm not going to college. I didn't go to college. I did later on, but I didn't go to college. My thing was I wanted to be this huge media mogul and da-da-da-da. But that was not normal. That was not normal. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Not in my time. It was not normal. So it made me look kind of like, you know, like, who do you think that? And really there was no, how was you going to make income with that? That was the topic. How are you going to make income with that? Who told you that? So then I was told, well, maybe be a meteorologist or work for the news. No, I'm not talking about that type of media. I want my own talk show. I want my own magazine. I want all of this stuff. And I had a guidance counselor tell me, that's just far-fetched. I don't. You need to go rethink that and come back with the real plan. that is what she told me. And I was like, wow. And I bought it for a long time. I bought into that, well, maybe she's right. So I did the whole get a job thing. And like you said, you was miserable. I was miserable. I went from job to job, career to career. That didn't look normal. Now that is normal because people have different outlets, different skill sets, and I had different skill sets. So I had all the experience, but I didn't have the education. So that made me look like what your time now looks like to you. And so we need to break those barriers, because those are the barriers that cause people very, very, very hard grief. And their lives are just very, very miserable because they're not allowed to function. Now, what we're talking about is it's okay if you want to go to college and get a degree, but it's also okay if you don't want to go to college and start a career or start a business and be successful at either whatever you decide to do. That's what you need to do. We're not saying that one is better than the other. That's not what we're saying. So don't go tell everybody that we're for one and not the other. What we're saying is whatever you decide is for you, do that and work hard at it, because every career can be a success, even if you have to create the success for yourself and create opportunities and doors and cultures. It can work.
Yeah, so yeah, it's true. It's not limited to just because I did doesn't mean you have to go to college, but
Right.
there is value in education because there's holes that you fill in, like information. It's like, well, this is what I learned from school, and this is what I'm going to apply in the workplace.
Right.
And that's what works for me because I have a background in what I want to do. So don't limit just because somebody else went to school doesn't mean you have to go to school, or create
true.
your own path.
Yeah, and that's what, there was a gentleman, he was talking one time, and he was like, I really believe if we're all able to create our own path, to walk in who we are, this society would be so much better. What we're saying is we're not telling you that you should do this and not that. We're just telling you that you need to figure out what is good for you, what's best for you. Is it going the path of an education? Is it going the path of a career, starting a business? Either way, it's up to you to decide. What's good for her and good for me may not be good for you. You may create your own path that we know nothing of. We would like to hear about that because we believe that our viewers would like to hear about non-traditional forms of doing stuff. Now, Lupita, let's talk about you for a second.
Okay.
Can we ask how old you are?
I'm 23.
23. But your overall persona and the wisdom and the knowledge that you work with is just what we would say in my time, you're well beyond your years. You're well beyond your, what do you attribute to you having the knowledge that you have?
Well, definitely experience, just like with life. My parents, when I was in high school, my parents got divorced, and I went through a very rough time, and that to me matured me because I had to realize like money doesn't grow on trees, and again, traditional Mexican family, go to school, get your education. I couldn't go to a university because I couldn't afford it. And that to me was like at a very low point in my life. And I realized that I didn't want to be broke, and I had to get myself through school so that I could achieve what I wanted to do. In that, I've met a lot of people, I've had a lot of older friends, and God just put people on my path that I needed to meet in order to get me where I need to be. And a lot of my friends, they're like 10 years older than me. You're one of my friends, you're older than me too. And the difference between me and other people is that I listened to the advice that others had to give me. A lot of people in our generation are like, whatever, I don't want to hear it. But you need to listen to people and not just dismiss them, because there is value in what people can teach you. So I would say the people that have been put in my life have definitely had a big impact on my success, but also life experience. And through my own life experience, I was able to figure out who I was and figure out what works for me.
And I like that you said it. You said exactly what I was fishing for. You said you listen. That is key. And not only listen, but apply.
Yes.
Because it's vice versa. No matter the age, it's vice versa. You give me an idea, you give me advice, and if I don't listen to that and it is beneficial, then I will reap something very bad.
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean very bad, I mean I'll be restless, and you'd already given me the answer to what I needed. But if I do not apply that to my life, listen to it and apply it, then it's going to make my journey harder. But when I do listen and take that and glean from that and apply it to my life, it makes my journey more beautiful.
And I also want to say, be selective with your listening.
Yes.
Because you don't want to listen to somebody. Okay, when I was 18, I was working at a restaurant. And there was older people than me, and they were just like, I just saw where they were, and I knew I didn't want to be that way. So when they tried giving me advice, I was like, not gonna listen to that. That's the block that I had to put up. So yeah, be selective with who you're listening to. I always listen to successful people.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because I'm not gonna go to the doctor and ask him how to bake a best cake, you know. And I'm not a baker myself. I'm like, no, I don't do that. But that's true. It is you need to be very selective, because there's a lot of voices out there, and it sounds good. It sounds really good. All these voices sound really good. They sound like something you want to hear. They sound like the place you're going, but they're not all good. You have to know. And that comes in by having those relationships. Michelle and I was talking about being relational, because of social media, it stopped people from being relational. So when we come back from these fabulous commercials, we're going to get into something totally different. We're going to make a little shift here and talk about the relationship side of everything that we just talked about. See you in just a bit.
My name is Dr. Yvonne Jones, and I'm here to introduce my new book, Toxic Leadership, a Curriculum to Identify and Prevent Toxic Leaders in Church Ministry. This is much needed, much needed. We have toxic leadership not only in church ministry, but in corporate America as well. And this book will help you, if you pick up a copy, it will help you to determine if you've been toxic, and we all have at some point. And also, it will help you in your church ministry and leadership. It will help you to be a better leader for the Lord, because people tend to love power, and that's one of the elements of toxic leadership, someone that loves power, manipulation, controlling everything. And if you pick up a copy of this book, I promise you, it will help you in your ministry. Amen. So pick up a copy. I promise you it'll help you, because God is a loving God. And also the book talks about servant leadership like Jesus, and to lead how Jesus would have you to lead, because we are living in these last days, last and evil days. And so this will help the church. It's not a call out. It's a call up to the kingdom of God, because he's on his way back for a church without a spot or a wrinkle. So you can go to Zulon and pick this book up. You can go to Amazon.com, and you can also go to Barnes & Noble. It's also on Kindle. You can get a copy on Kindle as well. But pick up this book. Help yourself. Help your church to get to the next level in God, and watch God. I promise you, it will be a blessing in your church ministry. It will be a blessing in your individual ministry. And may God bless you and keep you. Amen.
Welcome back to Bold and Unique Living with Katrina Lokko. Lupita and I were just talking about, I had asked her how she became so wise at such a young age, things that she knows, her knowledge of certain things. And she, shared with us that she met people and they gave her good advice, and she listened to it, and she didn't only listen, but she applied it. But she also said selective listening. meaning she chose who she listened to based on her relationship with them and what they did know, because every advice is not good advice. And we just said I would not go to a doctor and ask him how to bake a beautiful cake. I just wouldn't do that. So you have to know people that you're receiving this advice from, because it could be deadly. Because if they don't know where they're going, if they've never traveled where you're traveling, they can't give you a roadmap. They can cheer you on. I'm not saying they don't have a place in your life. I'm just saying they can cheer you on. They can be your cheerleader. They can keep you encouraged. They can just pray for you and be with you when you are going to your journey. But they can't actually take you there or get you there because they've never been there. And I make it a habit myself. If I haven't done it, I'll say, ooh, I can't tell you that, because I don't want nobody's train derailed because of some wrong advice I gave. But if I've been there, then you know me, I'm like a dog with no, this is how it is, and this is how it should be, da 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 da. I'm gonna give you the best advice that I know is for you. But it's up to you to put it to good work, to apply it to your own life, to see how that works for you. But it's based on our relationship, not just because I'm some random person with some good information. And we tend to do that. We'll see something on social media and we'll say, oh, that's good advice. And we'll take it like it's true. But you may be receiving it from a source that don't even know what they're talking about.
I really feel like people walk around like this mask over their eyes. And they're just kind of like letting life lead them where it kind of goes. And you have to take control of your own life, because if not, then you're just going to let life punch you and you're just going to take it. And then that's why people get sad or depressed, because they're just letting life take a hold of them. And you really have to sit down and ask yourself, what makes me happy?
Yeah, it's true.
Because nobody else can make you happy. Like, people get codependent on others, like on friends or a partner to be happy, but that doesn't last. And then now you're like, oh, I always find bad guys in my life, this and that. Well, that's not always the case, because happiness is within yourself.
Yes.
So I fully take responsibility for my own happiness, and I let that guide me to where I want to see myself in life, and not just let life take control of me.
That's true. That's true, because if you let life take control, it will take you some places you don't want to go. And you're not orchestrating anything, and you're not organized. It's just let the chips fall where they may kind of lifestyle. And that's not good. But that's why we need those people that do have the advice that they can help us, as long as it's going in the direction that we're going.
Yeah.
Because we can't have no more derailments. Look at how the world is now. We got people derailing all over the place. And it's because lack of knowledge, lack of wrong advice, comparing themselves to other people on social media, trying to put their plan together like that plan, just all kinds of stuff. And it should not be so, but it is. It's not necessary that you have to be like someone else. Be comfortable and be free and doing it yourself. And guess what? If it works, it works. If it don't, get up and try a different way or do something different. That's what I say.
Yes, and I fully believe that I am the creator of my own life. We are all the creators of our own life, and if you're not happy with it, then you need to sit down with yourself and really ask, what am I doing wrong? Because people don't have those sit downs with themselves. They just blame externally. Oh, it's because of my job. It's because of who I'm with, whatever the case may be. But really, it's within yourself. So I really recommend people just, sit down with yourself, and if you're not happy with your life, ask yourself, well, what's not making me happy? Because then that's when the control comes back, and then you're not depressed anymore, and you feel like you have, some type of leverage within yourself. Yeah. So that's super important.
I had to learn that too, what you just said. I'm a creator of my own life, because I grew up in a time where you're told you're not. You just follow these basic instructions. Be good, do this the right way, do that the right way, and things will work out the way that they're supposed to work out. That's what we were told. But the older I got and the more that I did self-search, self-healing, self-care, I realized the pit is because I led myself in that pit. by, okay, well, whatever happens, happens. It's not true. I wished I would have orchestrated things a little bit differently, but hey, I got back on track. I'm on track now, and I realize that every decision that I make is very vital. I'm talking like every decision that I make is vital because it has a consequence.
Yes.
And I'm creating my life, and I'm creating the lifestyle that I want. And not only for me, because I am a firm believer, and I have children, and then I have grandchildren. So the lifestyle that I set for myself will adamantly be the lifestyle that I'm setting before my children and before my grandchildren. And if I'm going to a pit and I'm leading them, they're going to follow me in that pit. But if I'm going up the hill to a better way, a more excellent way, and a better life, then they're going to follow me up there. So it becomes no more just your pit. You can share your pit with other people based on them listening to you and you not have the right advice or making the right directions.
Another thing I want to address too is, like you said, sometimes I lead my own self into the pit, and it could be a dark pit too.
Yes.
And there's laws in the universe that go on, and I firmly believe in the law of karma. And what karma is really is a law of cause and effect.
Yes.
So what you do affects other people. It's like a chain event. Like,
yes.
I think about it in the most simplest ways. For instance, let's say I took my dog to use the restroom. I didn't pick up his poop. So now somebody else is walking along. Now they have poop on their shoe.
Yes.
I just ruined their day.
Yes.
And that comes back to me. And let's say I forgot about it, and the next day I'm like, oh my God, somebody just freaking hit my car. Why is this happening to me? Well, that little instance, it affects other people. So now
It does.
Now this person has poop on their shoe, and maybe they're late going to work. Now they have to go back and change their shoe, and it's just like a ripple effect.
It is a ripple effect.
Mhm.
Everything it is, and we don't until you come to the realization of who you are. You don't know these things.
Mhm.
It is a ripple effect. You spill your coffee, someone slips. Think about this. It's really just that serious. Someone slips, they fall. Now they're off a job, can't pay their bills. Then whoever they owe can't pay their bills based on their waiting for this. Everything. When we realize that we are all more alike and more connected
Yes.
than we know, we'll begin to change the way we view things and the decisions that we make based on our relationships.
Yes.
I have to keep coming back to the relationship thing because I'm telling you, if I care for you or love you, then I would do what's right so that you wouldn't follow in my footsteps. And we'll be much more happier, I believe. Now,
I just want to end the show with telling people that, if you're a positive person and you always are sending out that good energy comes back to you. But if you're always being hateful and just like, ugh, why are they making money? Why am I not making money? I wish that they weren't doing blah, blah. That's going to come back to you. That's where you are because you're being negative.
yes.
Whether it's you're like, you know what, I'm so happy for you. I wish that you're blessed with 10 times more abundance than you have. Guess what? That's going to come back.
Yes, that's
So-
true. I believe that. Y'all, I'm excited. This is a whole series. This was part 2. We're going to go until you tell us to stop or until you want something different. But I'm telling you, grab your pens and your papers. You need to watch the entire series. We're going to go through each component. We're going to break down some things. If you have any questions, please email us, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy. If you have a question that you want us to release on the show, please, by all means, email us. The information is there on the screen. Thank you for watching Bold and Unique Living with Katrina Lokko and my guest Lupita Fernandez. We want you to be fearfully and wonderfully made. Have a blessed day and just go out there and make somebody else's day happen the way you made your own day happen.